Ecstatic Bliss. Secrets to living a juicy life. The era of soul leadership. Leadership that is coming from soul. A soul-based approach to what it means to be a leader. I have contemplated on this topic, especially also because it's somehow in the field, not only with me, but also with others, what true leadership actually means. Both for me personally, as well as on a collective scale. Because I feel this year especially, the fire horse, action, it's like Aries, fire energy, action-oriented movement, initiation, manifestation, just doing it, getting things done. Even if not all answers are here yet, it's a very forward momentum that we currently experience on a global scale, like actively activated by the cosmos, so to say. So I felt like this topic is something I invite you today to contemplate with me, and also for yourself, what it means to be a leader. And if you see yourself as a leader, however you define it, because often we have this image in mind of someone on stage or being in the front row. And yes, this is one part, but leadership has so many flavors or qualities, and we can also be quite in the background, but still leading when we, for example, tap into our own field, like leading ourselves, which is related to one of my master topics. It's self-mastery, which I also teach. This is also leadership. Self-leadership, so to say. So we have the self-leadership, which is related to yourself, how you lead yourself throughout life and in life areas. And then we have this on a much larger scale, collectively seen. Are you an initiator, a first runner, first mover in some specific field, and you see yourself as a leader in that way? So leadership has many definitions. And I'm just today giving some sparks of what leadership in this time quality means, especially seen from a soul perspective. Because what also a lot of people still associate, because we have been in a way conditioned to it, because we have seen it, experienced it, or read about it, or it's still lingering in the field that a lot of leaders, when we look into politics or in structures and formalities, they rather come from ego constructs, the ego-based leadership, where it's about power, about self-indulgence, about validation, about competition, of being better than someone else, about, on a larger scale, war is also part of ego-driven leadership, like conquering about countries and rules, regulations, keeping people small, hierarchy, all of this interplays in ego-based leadership. Leadership that actually suppresses humans instead of really guiding it into a higher awareness, a higher self-empowerment. And soul-led leadership, I feel, is what truly leadership should be. It should be serving a greater purpose, the greater whole, the society, Earth, the planet, humanity, an empowerment of people and not a suppression, not a hierarchy, but seeing eye to eye, giving a hand to help someone reaching their best potential, and establishing structures that don't dim lights, but that enhance and support to unleash the light. That starts in school also. In school, in health, in the politics, in cultural affairs, in religion, in so many ways, in a way, societal constructs where we see many people in ego-based structures and even glorifying what they present in form of conditionings, promotions or propaganda, television, media in general, where, I don't want to dive in deeper, but you probably know what I mean by propaganda and media and infiltration and spreading messages across the world, especially that reach people that are not that aware yet to decide for themselves. Because why are there leaders? On a soul-based level, to help people, as I said, bring them into their best potential, to help them, to give them a hand and say, this is the direction to go, this brings you forth on your path, and this is, in a way, also a way to let your soul shine again. But ego-based leadership is more about, you are small, I have the word, and you do what exactly I say. Yeah, the hierarchy, the seeing oneself as something better, something higher. Outdated leadership is built on hierarchy, competition, power, conditioning people into believing that they are not worthy or that they are lower, that they have to work for something. All these distorted conditionings that we carry from generations, and that let people not awaken to the truth of who they truly are. To keep them small and obedient, to work for the system, for the leaders. What we are transitioning into on a collective scale, new earth consciousness, intrinsically interwoven in that awakening is, in my opinion, soul leadership, where we realize again, where we remember leadership should be a service for the divine, should be in service for humanity, should be rooted in love, in truth, in authenticity, in embodied presence, in coherence, in having the courage to lead from the soul rather the ego. And of course, this is a process, because for soul-based leaders, they first have to be initiated enough to drop ego patterns of themselves and step into soul. These are, in my opinion, first these personal initiations until you can, in a way, call yourself a soul-led leader. And maybe those will even not call themselves like that, because often with these people, humbleness comes hand in hand with leadership. Because they have remembered that it's not them, their identity, their persona leading, but the divine has chosen them to lead. And there, this humbleness is a devotion to love and truth. Because what happens when we ourselves as an individual have self-leadership, self-mastery? It's a path of soul remembrance, of soul alignment, of soul embodiment, what I teach. And once that is in place, soul leadership can, or naturally, emerges out of it. That's one contemplation I had, like, the sequence is soul remembrance. I'm more than my human self. I'm something beyond that, that is orchestrating my human avatar, soul remembrance. Then soul alignment. I want to get rid of all these distortions. I want to integrate myself, my past lives, bring my DNA and gifts online and so forth. Yeah, that's soul alignment, to come to this higher state of your being, your higher self-embodiment. And embodiment is the bridge then to not only align internally with these soul codes, but also bring them down. That's the descent. So soul alignment is more the ascent into higher states of consciousness, and then the descent to bring that consciousness down into your body, into the physicality, into the manifestation, that soul embodiment. And after that, soul leadership is possible because you have already accessed your soul truth, your soul essence, have already embodied it or are embodying it, and have become a transmission of your soul's divine gifts and talents and codes. And then from that births automatically, in a way, as a next evolution, that you are a soul embodied leader, I can say. Because what happens also when you go through this process of these initiations back to soul, remembering your soul, aligning with your soul, embodying your soul, becoming a transmission of your soul, what you feel inside of you, you feel so much more connected in wholeness, in inner union, in coherence, in peace, in it doesn't mean that there are no challenges and that you feel pain or like turbulence, but that you can see it from a higher perspective. And that then you also can look back at the state of being or the feeling you had once you had before that state, and the feeling you have now when you reach that point of soul integration. And you intrinsically, that's something interwoven in us. want to help others access that level of fulfillment in a way as well. And that translates into leadership. If you call yourself a leader at that time or not, that doesn't really matter, because sometimes also maybe there's a part of you resisting the terminology of leadership because it's connotated still with power suppression and you don't want to count yourself in it. Then maybe don't call yourself like this. It's not necessary. It's also just an identification in a way. But I feel also we can be proud if we have mastered a certain degree of ourselves. We can also be proud of ourselves and say like, yes, I've mastered that part of me. And now it's time to step out into the light or into my environment. Maybe it's just in your family, in your friends circle, to make an impact, to let others feel and show, because even also your energy alone can make an impact, can lead. It doesn't need to be a big, loud voice or stepping on the stage of some grand public speaking or whatever you associate with that. Find your own way of deciphering, of defining what does it mean to be a leader for me. And if you are on that path, your soul, will already feel something tingling of, yes, this is me. And then I invite you to allow yourself to claim that title in a way, in humbleness, that you are a leader. And that we need these leaders for New Earth. We need all of us. And if you, as I said, have mastered a certain craft, a certain tool, a certain whatever it is, in which field, whatever you feel proficient or feel a mastery, oftentimes it's our own path that we had a challenge to overcome and we found tools that helped us and that we want to share, then go out and share. Share these gifts and talents you developed, you reclaimed, you activated. That is leadership as well, to say like, actually, if I keep that to myself, it is selfish because others may have the same issue. And if I go out and share something about my journey, what helped me, others will have the opportunity at least to look into that and see, this is maybe also something for myself. And so we ignite each other. And leadership in that sense, in this new sense, soul-led leadership, I also see much more as an interconnected web, a network of us, of humanity, of society, instead of this hierarchy. So instead of these above and we below, it's more of we are all on the same level. We have different expertise, and different approaches also to life, and then also to co-create, to merge gifts and talents, to merge knowledge and wisdom, and to co-create. So it's much more organic. It's not so rigid in form. Okay, this is the person for this and this is the person for that, and not so rigid. It's much more fluid and organic and natural. And that is something we can play with, I feel. What then also happens is the more of us decide, yes, I step now forward, I become the voice for others in this field of expertise I have, and I share what I know, and the knowing it is important, it is valuable, it will help others, that this is also devotion to your own soul. At some point on your path, at least in my experience, it becomes inevitable that you feel something pushing inside of you saying, go out with this. Even if no one hears it at first, or if you feel like, I don't feel seen or heard, or maybe they don't get me, or someone judges me, all these little voices that you are confronted with, that will be radically erased on your path. So you can fully step into your power and say, yes, this is my message, not your human self, little ego message, because then we are again of I'm better or I know something better than you. But this is my soul mission, or this is why my soul came here. Soul-based leadership, therefore, also for me means to really get deep into your soul codes and templates, what I teach about in all my programs, and also reconnect, especially in Soulgasm. My one-on-one mentoring is these soul codes based on astrology, human design, and gene keys, that somehow give the mind a little bit more understanding and deeper insights into the energetics, why you came here, what your incarnation is for, and what you're here to unleash and what to learn and what to decipher. So it's like being the detective of your own self first. And the more you are in tune and sync with your own soul, the more you feel like this is actually genius, how my soul is designed and what it is here to bring forth to earth. Because so many people I encounter, I see their essence. I see their patterns of the soul, the structure of their soul. But do they live it? There are so many clutters often, so many layers of illusion and distortion and outdated mechanisms and belief system. And I can count a lot of layers like dust over this beauty of the essence. And that's sad. That sometimes makes me really sad on a human level. And I wish much more people come in contact with their soul, because I feel, and that's why I'm so passionate about it, because I feel this is part of spiritual awakening. And I will do also a podcast episode about that. Soul alignment is actually that, in a way, goal of spiritual awakening. One goal at least, yeah. I don't want to claim it as a goal because it makes it so much of, I have to achieve it, which is not necessarily true for you in this incarnation. But spirituality is, sometimes so much connected with the tools and techniques and, the fanciness of things. But in essence, it is all about coming back home to the divine, of course, in the highest sense, but first and foremost to reconnect yourself with yourself, your essence, your soul essence. And once that happens, leadership is, just the next step for you. And if I see it this way, each soul is here to be a leader in their own respect. The only issue, so to say, is that, as I just mentioned, most are not really connected, are disconnected from their soul, so they cannot access the layer of leadership. Even more so, it is important, those who have already mastered a certain degree of themselves, who are, so to say, a little bit ahead of the path, who, as their soul, on their soul level, have volunteered to be the early risers, first movers, however you want to call it, that they know their responsibility to step up, to step forward and say, I'm here for that, and I own that, and I will share that, because it is not only my right to do that, but my purpose, my mission, and the greatest service to humanity, to live your soul's essence in full truth, in authenticity, in love, and in devotion for yourself, for your soul, for humanity, for the divine, because you, in the grandest way, are a channel. And leadership in the new way is not having a structure or a defined way of, okay, this is what we want to establish and this is how I get most out of it from my ego purposes and gain a lot of status or a lot of money, but about what is the truth needing right now? What are we as a collective needing right now? And what is coming through me instead of forcing structures, outcomes, patterns, performance to tune into your channel? So soul-led leadership, soul-based leadership also means being the channel and let that flow through you and act upon that, what comes through you, in alignment with the highest truth. And that, in turn, again, needs self-mastery. So self-mastery and soul-led leadership, I feel, are very much intertwined. And maybe you feel like, I haven't mastered myself yet. And still, I can say, you can start already. Because it's a journey. It's not like, okay, this has to be finished to do that. It's not an if-then. It's a rather learning by doing and starting with what you can. Because you always are one step ahead of someone else. And once you are one step ahead of someone else, you already are leading in a way. And yes, that means sometimes to be in the front row or on stage or really taking someone on the hand and carrying with you but not in the old sense of hierarchy, but in the sense of we are in this together. We will do that together, we will rise together, and we will co-create together something that benefits not only us, but everyone. Love and truth are the main principles of soul-led leadership, and I'm curious how this evolves over the next years, because I feel more and more is breaking free already, and it's just a matter of time and cosmic alignments or constellations in a way, when the turning point is that really a lot is breaking apart and the new can flush it out and can sit down and say like, yes, now it's time for love to rule. Now I invite you, what does leadership mean to you personally and on a collective level? Especially what does soul-led or soul-based leadership mean for you? And maybe you can also tap in for yourself. And how far do you lead yourself? Because as I mentioned, it starts with you. Soul-led leadership doesn't have to take the grand scale. It can also just orbit in your own field. And that is self-mastery, self-leadership, soul-led self-leadership. If you want to dive deeper in that and master yourself, I have all links as always in the show notes, especially Soulgasm, my very unique program, what I journeyed through. I mean, it's channeled from my own journey. That is the way to go to really go deep into soul remembrance, soul alignment, and soul embodiment, so that you don't have to be stuck or feel stuck in something you are not, but can return to who you truly are and who you were meant to be in this lifetime, what your soul actually wanted to express in human form. Beyond the stories, beyond the ego, beyond the belief system you were conditioned into, but truth-based, love-related, heart-centered, and magically aligned. Of course, also ecstatically, blissfully crowned. Yes. So much love and bliss. Soraya Ananda. If you feel the deep pull to walk this spiral more intimately, Soulgasm, my 6-month one-on-one sacred mentoring awaits you. This is a living embodiment of all I transmit here, but uniquely decoded for your soul. Enter the portal of ecstatic bliss and unleash your personal soulgasmic reality. All details and the link to book your vibrational match call are in the show notes.